and ESEA.
Well, Splyce over compLexity there in the first matchup. We did see some glimpses of some fast shooting on the compLexity side, but ultimately not even enough to mount some sort of comeback.
I mean, it kind of looked positive when you look at how it all started. Obviously, Splyce picking up the pistol in the first half, getting them off to a 5-2 start, especially after that, very heads-up play by Exotic, actually, over towards that B bomb site to cancel out any sort of hope with getting the bomb planted for compLexity. So I was starting to think that this is where the turnaround was coming in after the pulse we had, where they took a tactical timeout, started mounting things back up, and ended up at 6-6. And I think with an 8-7 score at the first half, that should be perfectly fine for compLexity to work with going into the CT side, but just wasn't the case. Again, losing second half pistol, not really able to kind of just get their footing in the game at all. Just makes it really hard to win CS games, especially when it's more evenly matched teams than what we, I guess, initially would have thought going into this match, because we definitely saw some highlights and positive things coming up from Splyce as well.
Yeah, I mean, what was very interesting to me, at least, about this match is the pace. It's very slow for both sides. Both teams like to play it out. On the T side, like to wait it out, see if they can find any openings, see if they could capitalize on mistakes from the other teams, and it was just like a very slow-paced game in general. And as you said, like, it was a little bit, we saw some good stuff, we got some highlights, we also saw some messy stuff, they were waiting out and some clumsy rounds, and to be all fair with you, it wasn't the highest level of CS we saw right here, but they played it, and they did their best, both teams, and they tried their hardest to win, and that was like shine through the game, I'd say.
Yeah, no, definitely did. And I guess to be fair, they are playing it slow and methodical. And to be fair, if your opponent is actually giving you the opportunity to capitalize on these mistakes, if they are making mistakes, unforced, then definitely that is the way you have to play it out. So even though it's not necessarily picture perfect through and through, it is picking them up rounds here and there. So credit for the team to the teams actually recognizing what's getting them closer to the finish line.
It was what was working. Like, if it's not broken, why try to fix it?
Exactly.
Right? But if it never worked in the first place, then I can't say that you have figured out the appropriate formula. Guys, we're going to Inferno, another map that has a tendency to have some slow play on it, as Pimp once said in the break when you guys aren't with us at home. Talk to me a little bit about how these two compare.
I mean, you can, but you can also play aggressively. It depends on what approach they come in with. Like, suggesting from what we saw in Mirage, probably both teams are going to play it out slow again. It also depends whatever the CT sides are going to be aggressive or play like more way back and more laid back in that sense, and just waiting on the utility to be used. It all depends on what gameplay they come in with. That said, though, what we saw in Mirage is probably something along the lines of what we're going to see again on Inferno. Though, that said, there is more opportunities for the CT side to be aggressive all over the map, where Mirage is a little bit more locked in that. There's only so few opportunities you can be aggressive, whereas Inferno, you can be aggressive pretty much all over the map. So there's potential for something now, and we could see some more explosive CS. That said, though, we talked about it, it seemed like both teams just want to play it safe, they want to play it slow, and both teams believe they're better than the other teams, and that's how it usually goes when you play slow games.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said about starting off your season strong as well. Obviously, it's tough to see, these two teams potentially fighting for a playoff spot, as the lay of the land is right now. But if you want to do so, you kind of have to beat the ones you're expected to beat, or at least the ones you're expected to fight for that spot for. So if Splyce can now, obviously, they're eyeing the chance to go up and start the season 2-0, obviously they're going to take any means to get to that point. So if it's going to be slow and methodical, that's going to be their approach to get a victory, then that's what they'll have to do.
Well, this is a team that did square off in this map beforehand. And it did go in the way of Splyce, actually, during the, I believe it's Katowice qualifiers.
Yeah. A little bit of a caveat there is that the fact that they did play with Warden on compLexity's side. They didn't have FNS in the squad at that time. And obviously, even though Warden has been a great player in the past, that is a couple of years removed from now.
That's about a decent decade, I think. It's more of a Jason Moses O'Toole's time frame. Once upon a time.
So, which is a very long way ago, right?
Yeah, that might. Yeah, I don't know, Pimp. Go ahead. I feel like there's something you might want to.
No, just pointing out it might go like 10 years back. So I think no real to talk about.
You guys want to take shots right now?
Well, actually, taking shots might not be a bad end of the day or the beginning of the day. It's really how you look at it.
Listen, a breakfast tequila's never hurt anybody.
That's true. I don't know that it's ever helped anyone either. But I'm not gonna take that one away from what it is. It's very much a reality as we go into the 7th hour of this day, the it's, I guess, officially the second day of ESL Pro League.
Yeah,
right?
we are reaching into the second day. Definitely are.
We've kind of gotten to that point. So how about this? We're going to be jumping in this matchup real soon. But first, give me an in-depth prediction here, Pimp.
Splyce is going to win.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Please, please, tell
Well,
me more.
There you have it. Obviously, Splyce looked more up to task, really, on Mirage. Obviously, it's going to be a different story with FNS in the squad now on Inferno, and I would imagine, just given what we've seen from CLG when they played Inferno in the past, they had really solid ideas of how they want to play their CT side, so I'm expecting more of it. More to come out of compLexity in that end. And again, I think it's going to do a lot for them if they can manage just to pick up at least one of the 2 pistol rounds going into this map. So I'm still siding with compLexity.
Well, that is your choice, and you chose that for yourself. I think I can bring in the commentators now and kind of ask them if they're feeling the same exact way about it, which, you know, what do you guys think? I mean, does this one fall in the hands of Splyce again?
Take it away, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably will. I think they look like the better team throughout that, and I think they play a bit more. I mean, we saw both teams like to play it slow, right? But I feel like theirs was more measured. Like they were able to kind of switch things up a lot better when you know, knowing when to change the pace. I feel like that was something that we kind of saw compLexity struggle with, and I think that punished them quite a lot in their T-side rounds.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We're going to have a battle royale on this map. The holiest of all maps in Counter-Strike, Inferno. See what these 2 teams have in store for us to start out the season. We're going to see both of these teams kind of change the way they play, obviously, as they get used to some of the new rosters, the new additions, and all that good stuff. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I'm also excited when we finish, we get to see the Danish Sunrise, which kind of sounds like a cocktail, Jason. You know, what would you put in it if you were going to have yourself one of them?
Sunrises usually involves orange juice and grenadine to get that nice red, pink coloring of a sunrise. Ooh. Normally made of tequila.
Doesn't that sound great? But here we go. Def, first man to fall. He's not going to get a Danish Sunrise. Instead, he gets a cold, hard dose of reality as he goes down over on Banana. That's the man advantage taken for Splyce. And on the back of this, they might look to try and go for a bit of a faster play in towards A. It's where they're all grouped up. And the issue for them here is that compLexity do lie in wait with 3 players stacked over here toward A. It is going to be a tricky task. Ye's in the corner, but they know that he's there, and Drone actually doubles down in with 2. There is still Android here, but he eludes them by backing himself out through the smoke. Davey takes the fight with PTR. Bomb goes down, 3-man advantage in favor of Splyce. This is going to be tricky and perhaps near on impossible for compLexity.
It should be impossible for compLexity, but you never know. And yeah, now that Android's pretty much taken out of the fight with the Goosh and Drone finishes him off, yeah, now it's just Peter just backing away slowly. Not really anything you can really save here. So it's going to be pistol round towards Splyce. That's a nice take. You have to survive that second round, but so far so good on the T side. We saw in Mirage the T side's reigned supreme, and obviously Splyce's was just a bit stronger. I think what first half was 8-7 for compLexity on the T side, and then it was pretty much a wash from there. 9-3, 9-4, something around those lines. Either way, MAC-10's coming out, Galil AK-47, another investment from the compLexity side. We don't see, I mean, we don't see the smoke tactics coming out, which sometimes we're seeing from a lot of European teams. If you want to do the delay, especially with Astralis, they've kind of made it popular as sacrificing some of the armor, maybe the head armor, in order to get the smoke, so that if you can drop them in a timely fashion at the right moment, you can really, really delay the T side in these rounds and force them into an awkward fight. Some spam coming through, that's quite nice.
Yeah, Android gonna go hopping out of there. Yeah, won't be too happy with that. But I mean, Splyce, I'll take it all day long. Another slow round. We've kind of come to expect that from both of these 2 teams. Of course, not wanting to run into these 4-sport players. The CZ devastating up close. Android's over a mid. He was tagged low earlier on, so he's going to go down. Question is, do they check for them? No, they don't. FNS is able to get himself 2. Drops the bomb as well. That's the information gained. And you can see that PTR in the back of it going to start to rotate round to Library. Yeah, only issue is Splyce have began this rotation back to B. Def boosted up on the flower pots. Has to try and hold this back, and it's going to go unchecked. As a result, Roka is going to go down. Man advantage taken for compLexity in this retake, and yay. Only just beginning this rotation round. They're going to be boosting up Def, but he finds the first now. It's Davey. 1v2. 2 players to try and deal with. They are coming in. Apart from one another, so PTR going to go down. Now it's Ye, who has to try and clutch this out. He has to be swift on his feet as well. Davey takes the fight. Ye's up close, and Davey does it. 1v2, secures the hat-trick, and locks in that second round for Splyce.
Yeah, really nice job from Davey to win that clutch. Very good getting aggressive, finding his 1v1s, but a lot of danger that round for Splyce. compLexity with that buy, bring it into a one-on-one. That's good stuff, getting those kills. Getting 4 of them, hurting the economy, forcing a lot of rebuys. You can see a MAC-10 coming out on Zotic, trying to get some of that bonus money for the AWP, 4 AK-47s. And now that they've reinvested in this round into rifles, this is definitely a round where you cannot lose a whole lot of players. You just can't, because these AKs are expensive. 1 flash bang on FNS, that's over towards balcony. They're waiting for any indication of mid-presence from Splyce before pop flashing and trying to get the kills. The moment doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's just going to be a play towards this deep bomb site. Splyce will get it for free. FNS still holding on to that flashbang. Just now it looks like PTR is getting bored and kind of peeking down mid, seeing if there's any information. There's nothing there, so stack doesn't work out, but a good idea nonetheless.
Splyce, they're still waiting. Gonna start to creep into B. There's no one here, so can't get too excited. USPs and a PT50 for compLexity. Doesn't really give them the best odds to get anything done here. Exotic, you imagine, is gonna go hunting with the MAC-10. And yeah, compLexity is gonna wait for exits. Now, if you Splyce, the one place you don't want to be is down in the bottom of Banana. It, quite frankly, just looks like a bad time, Jason. So they're going to play things safe and exit in it through CT. It's cleared out by Exotic. They dodge the bullet, and they get themselves a 3rd round with everyone in the game surviving.
Yeah, don't see that too often, but I mean, you can kind of understand it's just compLexity stacked, you know, the A bomb site, and then Splyce went B, and then compLexity stacked the base of Banana, and Splyce evacuated through CT spawn. So unfortunately, neither of the gambles work out for compLexity. Also, smart, you send Exotic with the MAC-10 out to CT spawn to kind of investigate to see what you're going to run into. And once he clears that, it's all gravy. It's all gravy.
See, we never really get to see rounds where everyone survives. I feel like that needs a name for whenever it does happen. Do you have a creative streak in you, Jason? This is throwing you under the bus, like.
No, I got nothing.
Well, there you go. It's fine. I wasn't expecting much. You know, it's early in the morning, and it's a big ask. So here we go. Exotic, he's the man to try and find something. That nade lands right at his feet, but he's just going to go striding on in, and they're not ready for this whatsoever. Takes the fight close. Def goes down, but he had the bomb. And this is going to force Splyce to go fast. PTR able to get 2 in and through the smoke. He's done fantastic damage, and look at the bomb. It has betrayed them. It's tiptoed away into CT. Roka's gone ahead and picked it up, but FNS is already there. Now it's Roka, 1v3. Gonna go ahead and get this bomb down. He should be able to do that. And we kind of said, you know, there was a time where he was one of the star players in this lineup. He has been a little bit silent since. Now he has to step up massively. Peeks on out. They triple peek into it. Play that perfectly. compLexity are going to be in with their 1st round.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the call necessarily overall. I'm assuming they got disjointed just because of the nades that came through, the follow-ups to Zotic with the MAC-10, like just didn't want to be that close to eating the grenade, so they kind of paused as they reined in. And then also him with the bomb. That doesn't help anyone at all, going in first with the bomb like that, especially when you're the player going in to like kind of scout and just kind of make some kind of a crazy play. Obviously, Peter very fortunate to get that 2nd kill on a Davey through the smoke. That always helps things. Regardless, another buy comes out for Splyce. No op on the board for PTR, but Zotic has one, and he was fairly impressive with the AWP on Mirage. I really kind of liked what he brought to the table, and some of those clutches and some of those post-plant situations, so it will be interesting to see what we have going on here. Drone going to get a spam through the smoke, so returning the favor. I guess the game gave PTR one in the previous round, and they're going to equalize things here. It's a 4-on-4 situation, though.
And yeah, Davey going to go blow for blow. Yeah, he wins that out. Man advantage taken once again for compLexity. Now, they throw out that one smoke down towards Arch. Gonna block off the angle from Long as they start to wrap up through short. There are 2 players inside this A-bomb site, which, you know, with the man advantage, I feel like as a player you could definitely justify doing. Can be a bit risky, to say you play at the start of the round, but now.
It's only really necessarily risky like during like the full-on executes that get hectic, you know, with players wrapping, because then you're just trapped inside the bomb site and your position gets given up. And these slow-paced rounds, though, I mean, if you're Splyce, you have to remain honest, and you have to at least have one person being mindful of what's going on if there's someone in pit. You just have to, you know, be cautious about it, because there usually is. So in these slow-paced rounds, this is going to be deadly. There's Roka turning in, although Yacer is completely blind and even clears out Android. That works perfectly. And there's Zotic with one, and somehow Splyce turns the round on their head, and it almost feels like a repeat of Mirage in the sense that another economic reset for compLexity. Their CT-sided woes still continue. And why not?
Yeah, they're not going to have much to go off of in this round.
What a god-tier flashbang. I want to see where that flash came from. It's blinded both players inside the bomb site.
Yeah, I'm curious as to where that, like, I didn't even really get to see where it went off. Like, you know, how would you throw that to blind both the players inside of the site? It would have to land right in the middle.
Yeah.
So it was a very nice flash, and, you know, contradictory, sorry, to what we saw earlier with the, it turns out it was a team flash over on Mirage.
Oh, was it?
And I were wondering, yeah.
How'd you find that out?
I went and checked on everyone's favorite source of information, Reddit.
Nice.
And yeah, it was clipped on there. So yeah, it was a team flash, but
that's awkward.
They've clearly been refining that, Jason, and now they've got it back under control. Smoke goes down in CT over here towards B, but Splyce, they're in no rush whatsoever. You have Davey holding off over towards apartments, waiting to see if any aggression comes through. 3 players have rotated into B for compLexity.
Yeah, but the tough part is it's almost one of those situations where it's like, who cares? They don't have anything to really fight with. What is it? A USP on FNS. There's a P250 on Def, which is nice, and then PTR has a USP as well. So not a whole lot of damage. Android is rotating over there, but you'd expect with the nade usage, with the AK-47s, this shouldn't be too much of an issue. There's not even any counter flashes that can really happen, and PTR is going to burn alive. He's going down low. There's FNS getting taken out with a nade. Davey with 1 kill. That's on the flank. PTR is going to get 1 kill, and the USP is actually doing some work. This is actually very damaging, and Exotic just says, why would I even want to mess with this B bomb site? 20 seconds left. Davey holding for Peter to push, and there it is. That's the round, but almost far too costly considering what compLexity was defending with.
Now that buy can come in for compLexity. Gonna have the AWP out for PTR. FNS and Android both gonna be taking a hit so they can get extra utility, and utility is king here on Inferno for that CT side. And going to be worth its weight in gold when you consider how slow Splyce have been playing. If they can keep some of that utility up until the later stages of the round, it will be pivotal, I'm sure, in deciding the fate in these rounds where there's kind of 25 seconds, 30 seconds left on the clock. Delaying the pushes there is, it can make or break a round for you.
Well, here it comes. Roka coming out of balcony. Now we're picking up the pace as compared to Mirage, and there's a great shot from Zotic. Semphis with a lurk out of Boiler, but FNS responds. He reads it coming just in time. Now here's the tough part for Splyce is Zotic has the AWP, and he's also got the bomb, so he's actually got to make his way in. There's going to be a flank coming through A-halls. Drone's got his eye on that. It's also smoked off. There's no kits on any of these compLexity players for the retake. It's got to be quick, and it's got to be convincing. Molotov going to slow him down even more. Drone just has to stay alive inside of the pit. Peter's looking for it. It's not going to happen. Here comes Death jumping out. Takes so much damage. Down to 8 HP. They still haven't gotten into the site. This is looking so unlikely. The crossfire setup is so deadly between Drone and Roka. And there it is. PTR has got to bail out with the AWP. They're hunting him down. But I think he should be able to get away. It's going to be a 6th for Splyce.
Someone went down towards the end there. To the bomb, I think. It was very far away. I kind of feel bad for them. I think it was Exotic. Yeah, it was. That's always a little bit devastating. But yeah, the AWP wasn't saved either, so he has to actually reinvest in that. Now for Splyce, looking like they should be able to get themselves a 7th round here. As PTR, the only man with anything, is over towards A, playing it on his lonesome with the AWP on his back. Now flash in towards Banana. 4 players stacked up here for compLexity. They've got 3 Deagles and a PT-50. No flashes, no anything. It is just aim inside this B bomb, so that's all they have to see them through. The push about to come in. Def on the fountain. Reigns in Def. He's able to go ahead and get himself actually just some damage. Doesn't find much other than that. It's Ye to step up. All falls onto Exotic, and he gets taken down. So compLexity, they managed to get themselves a 2nd round. It's seemingly from nowhere.
Yeah, why not, right? Oh, well, they're going to be happy with that. The double op setup is quite nice, especially when you get it for free. You're going to start upgrading here. And there's not a whole lot of money on the Splyce side of things. I don't know if they're going to buy here. They are going to go for it. Okay, so they can get 3 rifles and then the 2 CZs. They're going to be happy with that. They've got good utility as well, which isn't a bad. I mean, what we've seen towards this A-bomb side as well has been pretty, relatively quickly paced executes. Just kind of hit the bomb site, stream out. So when you have CZs and you have enough utility, you can get away with that if that's the style you're going to bring to the table. And at the moment, because compLexity was able to turn that around on its head, they have plenty of utility to stall things out early on. Here comes the flashbang into the air. PCR not blind, but he misses the shot anyways. They've got to know there's a 2nd player, so nobody wants to turn the corner. It's going to be a reverse boost. The flashbang coming out, not doing the damage. The Molotov was holding them isolated towards top banana. PTR slowly going to fall back. Spamming through does some damage as well.
Yeah, he actually
Did he
collaterals
double them through the wall? Cool.
Yeah, so it was drone at the end there who got hit through 2 surfaces. And they can't be too angry with that. Damage done. Now Splyce still have 3 players over here on Banana. I personally would be a bit put off by the AWP tagging up 2 of us, but they're going to stick around. Davey trying to secure some ground over here towards Arch side. Potential that they might try and break their way through into CT, and that smoke pretty much solidifies that decision. You can see Def is rotating background to try and keep an eye on it. FNS is going to be the point man, the one to try and shut this down from Library. Has a bit of a crossfire set up with Def. They go pushing on into it. Damage inflicted from either side. Sempis gets 1, and now has FNS to worry about. He's able to get that as well, and Exotic in the meantime going to drop out PTR. They get control of B. The bomb goes down just in the nick of time. Sempis goes ahead and retreat. Now it's Ye and Android to try and retake 2 versus 3. And with Sempis this close, it is not going to be an easy retake. That's for sure. 2 flashes. Going to rain in. Sempis goes down. Exotic getting holding from Pillar. He's going to be fully flashed and starts to peek out, finds the burst onto Ye. Now Android doing damage, has to worry about the player on Banana. Doesn't know that he's there, drone peeks out, the crossfire's perfect. And Splyce, they managed to find themselves another round.
This 2nd kill from Sempis on FNS is awesome. 6 bullets left in the chamber. He misses the first couple, but still recovers nicely to just drill FNS. And that's the nearest rotation. If Sempis goes down there, FNS has a chance to slow things down even further. But what I'm mostly impressed about is this young guy, Exotic, the 16-year-old phenom, with that AWP is playing very, very well in post-plant situations. With the angles he's taking, he's not over-peaking. He lost the angle to Ye earlier in that post-plant, and just, sometimes you'll see the mistake of going back and taking that fight. But he was very calm, dodging the flashbangs and not peeking back into it in the 2-on-2. compLexity once again backs on the wall with their money. 1 kit, 2 CZs, no armor on PTR with the AWP, 3 smokes and some flashbangs and an 8. They're going to run out of all of that very, very quickly, but I mean, both teams on the ropes in terms of their money, so big round to see if compLexity can make a comeback or if they're just going to have a way deeper hole to get out of.
So, Sempis tries to take up position over in apartments, waits to see if any aggression comes out from compLexity. They've gone for a stack over here on A. And this is where I think this style that Splyce has been playing could come back to punish them a little bit here. They haven't really been, you know, trying to probe into any of these sites for information all that much. And Inferno is quite a hard map to get the information on anyway. But no attempt from them in that regard. Means they are just going to be heading in blind. And if they leave this down to the clock, they will be forced to commit to this A side. And that's where we're going to see some problems come through. FNS currently alone on B. Of course, it would be the ideal candidate, the ideal way for them to go. But they're going to start to make their way out through mid. PTR's here with the AWP over at long. Going to be sent back as the smoke has rained in. Falls back through CT. And I mean, that's given them an opening, Jason. There was just kind of getting a bit antsy, suspects that it might be a fake.
Here's the tough part about it. If PTR doesn't come back with an AWP and there's no one watching rap side, the defense in the A bomb site with these 3 players is terrible to defend against a rap side hit. It's going to be so dangerous. So Flashbang's going to come out. PTR is going to have to dodge it. He does get the kill. That's great, but there's still danger coming in here. Davey with 1 kill from Halls. Def's given up his position, and that's exactly why. He can't peek from that spot. 1 player inside the site to deal with. It's Ye up on the boxes, and it's a drive-by from Sonic. All down to FNS. 29 HP, 1 versus 2, and he doesn't even get to fire a shot. Great job by Davey initiating things from Halls, but there was no way that defense was going to hold on. Even though Peter gets 1 kill, 2 players crossing and wrapping into the site from that side, there was just no way that setup was going to work.
Yeah, now it's back to the drawing board for compLexity. They've got plenty of time to think about it in this round when... Yeah, looking probably about a minute 30 to think about things before Splyce make their move, so they have got time.
But it's another, I mean, this is another double save territory. This is what's so scary if your compLexity is. That reset is so harsh. Everyone was basically $150 and less, I believe, on the CT side. So Splyce with an opportunity to get up towards 10-2, and then all of a sudden you're looking at such a monstrous half. Great job from Drone. Molotov ensuring that there's only going to be Def there to mount any kind of defense. And this is just a pretty standard round. We've seen it a number of times out of Splyce. It's Davey lurking in alt mid. A lot of pressure towards the B bomb site, and this time the bomb actually rotates back towards A, so they kind of turn it into a fake because it's been successful earlier on. Sempus covering the back of Roka, who's basically death matching into the B bomb site, and they clean things out.
Yeah, they do just have enough to get a buy together, but the utility isn't going to be all that great. It's not terrible either. We've seen them have much worse. So by comparison, this is actually an okay buy coming in. No kits though, and that is going to be tricky. We've seen Splyce get the bomb down in most of these rounds. I don't think we've really seen compLexity do too well at finding the frags early on and denying them entry into these bomb sites. So I wonder if they're going to try and do something ambitious to actually change that up.
I mean, the tough part on a map like this is to do something like, to kind of switch things up and kind of dig into your playbook on Inferno, on the CT. Like, you just need utility, and that's one thing they've been lacking throughout this whole half, right? Even now in this round. They've got all 5 smokes, and you could see they haven't used a single one yet, which is different from most of the other rounds. They're clutching onto them desperately because it's basically all they've got. They have no kits as well. Not a whole lot of flashbangs. I mean, they have 4, but it's concentrated on just 2 players. So those smokes at this point are worth their weight in gold. Splyce, meanwhile, is going to be able to use some to gain mid control, and they'll be able to use the rest of them to actually hit this bomb site, if they choose to. Looks like they just want to get Davey into a lurking position. Keep 3 players over towards A. Now there is a timer on this, is when can they actually make it happen? There's going to be a pop flash for Davey, smoke over as well. FNS is going to be able to challenge that at the corner. But Davey very quietly lurking away, and it's pulled PTR off the B bomb site. He's in terrible position at the moment. If this hit comes in right now, it could be all over. Davey, an aggressive lurk to stop the rotation. And there it is. He does prevent FNS from being involved, and Def on top is going to miss the initial spray. Does recover in time, but PTR just hasn't been able to get involved in the round. He's going to try and come through this smoke and stop the plant, but Sempus is waiting for it, and compLexity look a little lost.
Yes, they do. They're going to be able to save 2 rifles here as they exit up and towards apartments, but That doesn't really get them too much leeway into this next round. Just going to be able to buy a couple of PT50s or whatever, either side of it, which is definitely not ideal. For Splyce as well, quite critically, it's the chance of growing that economy out, and kind of just as I said, Semphis goes down, so they don't necessarily have that chance to grow it. So now they have to rebuy across 2 players, but it's not the end of the world either. It's they're definitely going to be able to buy. I was going to say to the end of the half, but no, that can still change. compLexity going to go for a force, and
You have to at this point. You just need the rounds. It's not ideal, but you just need the rounds. You can't let Splyce get up to 11 and think you're going to grab 4. You know, you just need to start fighting for him right now and hope it all works out.
yeah, this time they do have better utility. You kind of said that's one of the things they might have needed to switch things up. Android's going to go aggressive, but he hasn't expended any of that yet. So he runs the risk of going down, and in the round, I mean, he's actually the round with the most utility right now for compLexity.
He's got, what, like $1,300 in utility, so that would be a lot of money down the drain. Not peaking, though, quite yet. I mean, you have to imagine he's had some run-ins with Davey in this portion of the map. Davey's been lurking in this area quite frequently. All 3 players of compLexity towards the A bomb site huddled around these A halls and boiler. There's FNS trying to push into the window. He's been spotted out. And there's the push from Android. Davey's not expecting it. Maybe his attention was pulled away towards window, but Drone's going to take advantage. FNS still in boiler and just narrowly avoids being seen. Are they going to wrap onto the A bomb site? They're going to do it. And actually, there's only one defender here. FNS still trying to come behind. It's going to work, but they've taken the site. Android has been lost, and the bomb's going to get planted. It's going to be a 3-on-3 retake. This time, though, there are 2 kits. There's smokes. There's Molotovs utilized. But the players are falling.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and lose FNS. It's PTR and Def left to try and retake this site. Time ticks away. The save call is called in. And Splyce going to be in with an 11th round. I'm going to see anyone from Splyce go hunting. But, I mean, that was odd, Jason. It felt like, you know, we had a lot of utility there on compLexity, but we didn't actually see any of it get used.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it is some of these... At this point, at this stage in the game, if you're a compLexity player, you're thinking that you need to make a play. So you're not necessarily thinking of using the utility for like any strategic team-wide goal. I mean, you can see Android, his play was push into halls at the right moment when FNS had the distraction and find a kill. Those are the kind of plays that want to be made. FNS lurking up around brackets, trying to make a play before his teammates get in for the retake, trying to gain some extra map control before they ever arrive. And sometimes it's kind of hard to make those sorts of plays while also using your utility properly. And then on top of that, the kind of style that Splyce has brought out is when they're choosing to go, when they have minimal map control and choose to push forward, they're just continuing to go. Here's a nade stack down mid. This is always fun. Zodic hasn't seen anyone because of the nade smoke, and that might have confused Drone. He doesn't turn. Here's some success. Splyce, though, coming back into it. Semphis has equalized things. He's taken out from behind, so, I mean, that can't possibly be miscommunication. Had to have known there was a push down mid. Davey's got to make the play. He's going to go down towards boiler. Wasn't quick enough to get out balcony. And then Zodic in a 2-on-3. A lot of pressure being applied, but Davey's got to be the one to start moving with the AWP from A halls. It's just not a tenable situation. Davey waiting for a peek from Android. He's going to get it. He's going to get a free kill. There's one on the site still. Great reaction, but not able to complete things. And it's the CZ75 being transitioned into for the entry, and that's an immediate headshot. 1 versus 1.
Yeah, PTR wrapping up from Banana. So I can be facing into him. He does spot him out. Looking like he might even try going for a repeat. Plays it safe, falls back, and now going to peek out the short. PTR doesn't see it coming, and that is Splyce in with a 12th. Exotic impresses me again and again. The youngster for Splyce, I think, you know, currently showing a lot of promise in this matchup.
Yeah, he's having his way with them, isn't he? He's doing very solid. So quite nice to see. Unfortunate if you're compLexity, this CT side not going well at all. Always crushing when you're having a bad half to also lose the 1v1s. It turns your team speak into crickets, essentially. And Splyce again maybe a bit worried by the mid-rush that came out of compLexity last round. They're going to take this one much more cautiously than last.
Yeah, and I mean, that's good to see, making that readjustment. You know, some teams, when you're 12-2 up, kind of, especially if you know, aren't, I mean, even the bigger teams are guilty of it, right, where you kind of get very, very confident in your ability, but confidence kind of can make you make mistakes, right? And they definitely don't want to be doing that. They don't want to give anything away if they don't have to. A 13-2 half is absolutely insane for Splyce because it means the pistol round decides whether or not they win. And, well, yeah, he's actually able to open things up. Davey goes down up in apartments. Now they'll be lining up utility into this B bomb site. There's 2 players here to try and shut this play down. It's PTR and Def. Def boosted up. We saw him catch a couple of players off guard from this same angle just rounds ago. Rotation's already coming on in. FNS is the first man on the scene. They're going to be boosting up Exotic. Doesn't spot anything just yet. PTR be flying up towards Killer. That run boost is delicious. He's able to go ahead and get one. Now it's PTR left. Playing it round the pillar. Going to get tagged down low and finished off by Roka. And Splyce, they do manage to get the bomb down with plenty of time to spare. Sempus is back on the orb. And him and Drone lock in at that 13-2 scoreline.
That's such a baller entry into that site. He's doing it all. It's like Cirque du Soleil. Quite like that. That run boost entry. Good stuff from Splyce in this half. Obviously, they had the benefit. I think compLexity had to have felt demoralized pretty early on, which allows them to run up the scoreline. But, I mean, they did everything perfect on this T side on Inferno. Has kept the economy low, never let him get any kind of buy going on until the losing bonus is built up so far. But great entries, great recoveries in so many rounds. And Exotic to win a lot of those post plants for him was brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, 13-2 on the T side. You cannot be disappointed with that. Pissed around decides Splyce's fate in this matchup. I mean, if they manage to win that, then they are very likely to win out this this map as well. And for compLexity, that pistol is their only lifeline back into this. They cannot afford to lose it. Here's the run boost from Zotic. I'm very happy we get to see it. As you say, he does it all. He has insanely fast reaction speed. It's just been a pleasure watching him. And we get ready now to head into this second half. I kind of kept stressing it just to really drive the point home that the pistol round does decide compLexity's fate.
Even if they win it, I mean, it decides it insofar as that it might just delay the inevitable. It's how long can they remain fighting?
Yeah,
is the real question here. But yeah, they absolutely, yeah. We'll just leave it there. We've talked about the pistol rounds.
Yeah. I mean,
over the years,
yeah,
it's become the go-to.
Well, on top of that, you kind of brought this up earlier.
Okay.
These
is it American
sort of lesser, not lesser teams, right, but the ones that aren't kind of tier 1. They do sometimes tend towards being better on the T side. Maybe, as we head into this, we're just going to see compLexity completely smash Splyce, pull this back, and I'm being.
You're really reaching here, aren't you?
Yeah, you know,
trying to find some positives for it.
I want to. I don't want to try and spell too much of a dismal picture out for compLexity, even though it's very hard for me to do that.
Yeah, I think you can. I think it's safe to do it at this point. We'll see what they've got in store for us.
Really short of optimism right now, Jason.
I think everyone is. Souls are slipping away.
I mean, I never had one to begin with, but
you are a ginger, I believe they call it.
I am, yeah.
I think that's the technical term.
Ginger by birth and by name. Don't know what that means, but write it down.
Have you seen that South Park episode about gingers?
I have, yeah. No, I mean,
do you appreciate the humor?
That's where I get. I think I don't know if I'm a bit of a day walker. I feel like maybe I am.
Okay. Did you see the ensuing YouTube videos as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I like that someone defended us.
And then it became the commercial for the rerun of the episode. At least in the States. I don't know if they did it in the UK. It was great. It's brilliant stuff.
I actually do remember seeing that, yeah. No, I mean, going back a bit, but yeah, you know, I mean, some people got very triggered by it.
Naturally.
Yeah. You know, I mean, everyone does buy a lot of stuff now. I wasn't one of them.
Well, here we go, live into the pistol round after a short intermission. They ate their orange slices, they got their water, ready to go. FNS and Def with the utility. Smoke and 2 flashes for each of them. And Semphis is going to jump up. He's trying to find information. I don't think he spotted anyone, which can be dangerous, because obviously if he spotted 2 or 3 in alt mid, there would be more of a rotation from Splyce, the stack they have towards the B bomb site. There's going to be a timing here that if compLexity hits it, they essentially just win the round, because it's a retake setup for Splyce. They're playing far back. And it looks like they're going to get smoked off for the most part. They've got to get into the bomb site, but they've already lost it. They can't battle now, and actually a boost coming through doesn't even matter. And this should be a pistol round for compLexity.
Yeah, I mean, they've already got that bomb down. And yeah, here's FNS. He's got aggressive over towards in apartments. Tries to take the fight with Roka. One of the players rotating in from B. I mean, they've been very distracted by FNS. Trying to deal with him has delayed this push over towards short. And they're still so weary about him coming in the backline. Time is ticking away from Splyce here. They have to move swiftly. Exotic trying to do what he can. He's only got 2 bullets left. And it is just going to be a slaughter. It all falls down to the young gun. And he can't get it done. You said, you know, compLexity, they had their orange slices, but I think they had something else. They were full of beans in that approach.
Full of beans.
Yeah, you ever heard that one?
I have not heard that one.
There you go, just, you know, bursting with energy.
All right. Beans give you energy?
I don't know.
All right, well.
Supposedly. I heard that from my Irish friend, so maybe...
I will say it just outright. I think a retake strategy on Inferno on the A bomb site is maybe the worst pistol round in Counter-Strike. I can't recall the last time it was won without some kind of like incredible bonkers individual performance out of some player just hits like ridiculous shots in sequence. But I think it's so hard to recover in a retake of the A bomb site. That's why it's hard enough to retake with rifles. You give yourself USPs, which aren't the most reliable of weapons. It's even worse. Investment from Splyce, even with a big lead.
Yeah, now, well, they've gone ahead and we'll have 2 players over here in mid. You have got a 3-man hold here inside of this A-bomb site, 2 over in B. A little bit utility as well as they have 4 sport down. Davey, he's the man with the most. He's over towards that B-bomb site. 2 smokes actually ready to delay this push, and that becomes a little bit tricky if you are compLexity, right? They're trying to whittle this clock down to deny any sort of aggression, waiting to see if anything comes through, and nothing has from Splyce. They're playing it well. And the lower that clock gets, so the utility they still have in play, they could slow this down considerably. Smoke going to plume, but it's a little bit too late, and players are already up and past it. This is where that kind of gets rendered useless, and Roka tag low in the fire and flame. Exotic hard on their heels in the flank. FNS going to be holding a close angle, goes ahead and bids him farewell. Now it's Semphis and Drone left, 2v5. And I'm not feeling the retake here. It's all on Semphis, and it's not looking good for them. compLexity, they have got a 4th round as they convert that 2nd over the force buy from Splyce.
Yeah, puts a lot of pressure on Splyce into the 4th round. Not going to be having, you know, all the utility they would like to have to start things out. One of the dangers of buying in the 2nd round with such a big lead. So you might put yourself on the back foot economically, which is one of the few routes that compLexity has to get back into the game. Okay, he was just going for a kill or a gun at the end. I thought he might be like going for a teammate's kit or some crazy thing. There's Android, there's the dink, but not the kill. Android is helped out by the bomb explosion. 13-4, compLexity looking to make a comeback. Filled with beans.
Filled with beans, Jason, exactly. And you taught me a word earlier. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember either.
It was, I don't know, like zippy or something. I don't
Zippy.
know.
You didn't know that word before today?
I don't know. I don't even remember if that was the word. Jason, I don't know. Everything's all gone wrong. You know, it's grim right now. But here we go. Semphis and Davey, they've got 2 flashbangs over here at A. They're looking to try to make just some insane play with these USPs. And, you know, kind of see this happen a fair bit with a stack up towards top mid and then a couple of flashbangs to find something. And I've never really seen it lead to much success. But, you know, obviously, you know, you're kind of clutching at straws anyway. You only have USPs versus these armored players. Now, they've gone in there. They had a bit of a tower pre-built there. They go ahead and dismantle it though, and FNS is going to be doing just that with the UMP. They go ahead and shut them down. The USPs do manage to drop 2 players though, which isn't too bad at all. But now the buy can come in for Splyce.
Yeah, but really can't say you like this too much, all things considered. Having to go down to the Famas, a UMP on one player as well, just to be able to get the utility. Davies dealing with the kit as well. You can see the M4 is a little bit strapped. Not the worst in the world that I've ever seen on a fourth round in this situation, but either way, see how it plays out. AWP in the hands of PTR. Yaster's gonna work his way up. I think he just got tagged by Def, perhaps just a little bit. It's Davey and Roka playing defense at the B-bomb site. Very passive setup from Splyce as well, especially towards the A site. No information of what comes up mid. Double pit, one player far, far back at small pit.
Just another slow round. compLexity. Now it looks like they have their sights firmly set on A as they start to sneak on in, being careful to not divulge too much information in the way of compLexity. Now would be the sort of time where I'd love to see some banana aggression come through. It'd be very valuable here to have that information, but Splyce have elected to play passively. Now PTR are going to get disjointed from the rest of the team behind that. Molotov will be corrected as it gets smoked off, and now they look to try and push on in. 3 players here to hold this back for Splyce. No rotations in from that P-bomb site just yet. Roka slowly but surely rotating on round now. He has to be quick, though. There's 25 seconds. compLexity leaving this down to the wire, and that could come back to punish them. As they try to make their way in, they know they have to go rushing into the site. Setfist and Exotic start to shut things down. Roka going to be quick in with one more. There's only 14 seconds here, and FNS on 2 HP. It's not meant to be. As Splyce pick up round number 14. Jason, time is something that keeps punishing compLexity.
I mean, to be fair, when they started the execute, they had plenty of time. It was just great play from Splyce in terms of holding their utility. It helped that they were passive. They weren't challenging for top mid, so they didn't have to use any of their smokes on that choke point, any of their Molotovs or flashbangs to make sure they can retreat safely. And once the hit came in from compLexity, it was a counter Molotov, and then, you know, when the next kind of smoke and utility was used by compLexity to try again, another Molotov was used. So they were just able to delay, you know, 15, 20 seconds with all their nades and smokes and flashbangs and Molotovs. And compLexity, once they eventually just have no more utility to use, they just have to run into the meat grinder, and that's exactly what happened. Just a crossfire between pit and the bomb site. There was nowhere they could really go. So solid defense. Exotic now has his AWP over towards the B-bomb site, playing that passively on Coffin. Trap side going to get smoked off. PTR seeing if he can find anything. There might actually be a gap in that smoke on the right side if someone was to toy with it, but I don't think any defender wants to be that guy.
Nope. Just as you said, no. I was going to say Davey might have tried to step up to the mark, but instead gets himself into the cubby and just going to be biding his time.
There's 2 Molotovs on compLexity.
Yeah,
to flush him out. I don't know if they will. Obviously not.
Davey is allowed to survive for the time being. No Molotov goes in, and they don't even check the angle. Now he comes on in. Quick flick in from PTR, shuts him down. Still 2 men within side of the site. Semfis and Drone. Semfis takes 1. Drone is a step up here. He drops the bomb out in the open, and now it's Android left. 1 versus 1. Exotic, the youngster who's been impressing us time and time again to try and clutch this out from mid.
We've been watching Exotic win these with his hands behind his back all night long. Here he comes. He's on the hunt. Op in hand. Android hiding behind the box. No indication of what's coming. Molotov out. Nade out as well. That's ballsy. Couple things of utility. There's the peek in the shot. But he's not ready for Android. That time, unfortunately, he needed to use his hands. I got nothing anymore.
Well, for Splyce, it's just going to be an eco. They got no money, so that's what you do when you got no money. Stellar analysis.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's going to be 3 players over here towards B. And
get you on an analyst desk there,
Well, you know, I've stolen Blue's job. Maybe I'll get someone else's next.
You... Right, why not? Def's going to be leading the way. Double kill coming up, Banana. Exotic with the Zeus is going to find absolutely nothing. And it's just down to Davey and Drone. But compLexity have pumped the brakes. There's a pause across the map. They don't want to mess around whatsoever. They're hoping that Splyce walks right into them, and there it is. Drone brought down to 11. Still not pressing the issue whatsoever. No mistakes to be made from this compLexity side.
Yeah, it's just Davey left. And it's not looking good for him. He sits in the fountain. A little bit dejected, as everyone has died on his team. So he's just here alone. Now, Bomb going to go down over here towards A. There is still a man here to shut him down. It's Def. He's desperate for that $600. Where we see a man, he sees dollar bills. Going to go charging in. Def gets it. compLexity in with the 7th, and they are slowly but surely paving the path to this comeback, Jason.
They're getting there. It's going to be another buy out of Splyce. The AWP was picked up rather quickly by Semphis, which kind of forces everyone else's hands. I'm sure that was a call from the team. Just that AWP was bought so fast. So, light on utility. Not a whole lot of flashbangs, but I'm prioritizing smokes and Molotovs. Block off those choke points. Here's the peek from Exotic with the AWP, and he takes the shot through the corner of the wall. Doesn't hit it. But it's alright. He's put the fear of the AWP in this compLexity side.
Well, Splyce going to try and hedge their bets. They rotate the players that were over towards B into this A bomb side. The only issue with that is they don't really have any information to make that decision with. It's not an informed decision. It's just one that they're trying to take the gamble on, and it might not pay out for them here. compLexity stacked up outside of B. Exotic's here alone. He's been a bit of a star with the AWP, but
might be a bit much.
Yeah, 5 players coming his way.
He's got one shot, and then he needs to drop a Molotov immediately and hope it doesn't get extinguished. And, I mean, Davey shows no inclination of moving from his perch in CT spawn, so this is all on the 16-year-old. If there's a single pop flash, he might just be done for. Here it is off the wall. He's got to give that up. There's flames. He hits the first shot. He's got to stay forward, misses the follow-up. He's in the fire. And Davey's spamming through the smoke, is able to get a dink. But that is a lot of responsibility to put on a young player. Trying to spam out FNS, not able to get the angle properly. And there's a decent amount of utility. Drone's got the Molotov if they could force Android out. There is one kit under Roka. So they're going to try and make this happen. 2 flashbangs and a smoke as well. Drone going to throw the Molotov in towards back left. That's exactly where Android, no, excuse me, back right. Bounces off the wall. Actually, that goes absolutely nowhere. He completely missed that one to the laughter of my Patriots. Kills coming out. It's a 2-on-2. Boosted up. Peter lands the shot. He's going to be able to close this one out. Drone taps it, but FNS coming through with a nice headshot.
And Jason, I got to be honest with you. When I said, you know, these teams have shown they're better on the T side and that the comeback could happen, I didn't entirely mean it. And it looks like, you know, it could very well.
Now you know not to joke around.
I know, yeah. Going to be a nade stack though from Splyce. And maybe they can find some success here. compLexity, they've played towards Banana in so many of these rounds, and this time Splyce looked to punish them for doing exactly that. The nades rain in, and surely Def does not survive. You need patient with it. They know compLexity take things slowly. There's 2 players here for them to find. Nades go in. Good night to Def.
Say good night.
Now, yeah, he's there to trade. Does pick up 2 for 1. But in response, this compLexity is going to go charging in towards A. With the amount of nades that headed down through Banana, they assume that it's just going to be the stack. Rogue tries to do what he can from long, goes down to FNS. It's all on Drone, and they haven't checked for him. ETR gets the bomb down. He then falls as well. Drone's made this interesting. It's all on Davey. 1v2. He's going to try and go for it. Smokes down over towards shot, and there is a FNS waiting for it.
I mean, at this point, you either want an AK-47 or you want to try and ensure that both of them die with the bomb. So he somehow wins that battle. I don't know how that happened. That was kind of cool, though. Not going to be able to get the AK-47. Android is watching it, but still, economic damage done, but compLexity still alive in this, and only 1 CT round for Splyce so far in this half.
Now there is 5 rounds between compLexity and Splyce, and them equalizing that out. The AWP going to get thrown across the PTR, well actually shot across. Indicates that you might try going for a quick peek. He's going to be watching any aggression towards middle. Splyce haven't shown they're too keen on that idea, but Zotic is playing over towards Arch side this time around. So always a potential for him to go in for a peek into middle. Going to be boosting a player up over here in B. That's going to be Roka going up this time. While Davey holds off over towards Emo. compLexity taking things slowly. Just feeling things out. I'd kind of love to see Splyce just throw a spanner in the mix and just go for like an aggressive play into apartments or something, because I don't really think they've tried that. And aside from this round, compLexity, they've been fairly lackluster with the attention they've paid to it.
That or something like, I think it would be cool to see. I mean, it's always kind of a cool in theory. It doesn't work nearly as often as I wish it did, but some kind of delayed, peak in middle at brackets from Splyce, because compLexity, this is how they started essentially all their rounds. There's 4 or 5 players smoking off the left, flashing up and taking control of this. So there's going to be a decent amount of them grouped up. The hard part is, finding a way to attack this portion of the map as CT side that's going to have success. Now here's what scares me even more, is Zotic with the AWP has fallen all the way back towards CT spawn and pretty much left his teammates to take this kind of a fight. Now it's only on Sempus, and it's essentially 2 players defending the site where there once was 3 people here. It's just Zotic can't get involved because he's automatically smoked off with an AWP, so now they have to save.
Yeah, and I mean, now things get really desperate for Splyce. I think even if they sent Zotic with his AWP, along with 2 other players over towards Banana, we know that compLexity like to play there early on. And it's something that's been popularized by a lot of the top teams, is going for that 3-man stack initially over towards Banana. You have your AWP take like an aggressive peek into it, and then you have 2 players there to trade. But they're still opting for this very, very passive style of play, and I think it's just benefiting compLexity time and time again. Neither team really has any information, but compLexity are normally the ones benefiting from that, it feels like. So they're going to get a 10th round here. 4 rounds away from equalizing this out. I don't think either of us thought a comeback would be a reality, but compLexity, they've proved us wrong. They're close to getting it done, and while there's still time for Splyce to reach match point.
Yeah, Splyce needs to find some way to challenge compLexity in this kind of endeavor of theirs to take over. Maybe not mid, but somewhere on the map. There needs to be some kind of challenge to slow them down, to stop them, to have presence. Maybe you let Exotic, just get aggressive and find a pick with that AWP. That'd be great.
They're going for the aggressive AWP play on Banana, and this is what I kind of hope they would do. There's the kill. Yeah, he goes down. Man advantage taken. That's the first time we've seen Splyce have a man advantage.
That's a gift if I've ever seen one. Yeah, just like leisurely running up into Banana. No flashbangs, no utility.
Yeah, I mean, now Zotic free to rotate back around, of course. He's over here towards A, while the rest of the guys batten down the hatches inside of B. And this could be it, Jason. They might have found the ingredients necessary to secure a round. They've got the man advantage. They still have plenty of utility left. They haven't thrown any of that out yet. I mean, that's going to be massive. There's 1 minute and 5 seconds left. That's compLexity sneak away back up towards Banana. The guys inside of B, one of them being Davey, doesn't have much. Roka has plenty, though. Smoke able to go down. It's injuries when the take does come in. And with 50 seconds, time is once again what it's really going to come down to. You have FNS left behind to try and sell a fake. Keep these guys from rotating. Cut off any rotations as well that look to come in through mid. Now rejoins the rest of the pack. 35 seconds. As this push goes underway. Incendiary goes down to delay the push. Davey can throw his out now as well, buying them plenty of time. No one from A showing any signs of moving, though, so it is going to be a 2-on-3 inside of this B bomb site. 20 seconds left and counting. Push being held off. This utility used perfectly to buy so much time. Davey does go down. And now Zotic, they line up for him. He's able to go ahead and get one. Tags Def down to 10 HP. There's hardly any time. Aroka could deny it, but the nade from Zotic gets it done. FNS is 1v4. And it's not meant to be. He drops out Roka. And that's going to be it for him as he looks to try and hold onto the AK. Doesn't even get away with that. And Splyce, they get a 15th round on the back of a 4K from Zotic.
Thank God that compLexity was able to build up some money, because FNF dies after the timer. She doesn't get the bonus. Still able to get the AK-47, but Splyce now with 5 map points. Finally get aggressive with Zotic with the AWP. Turns into a round win. They only need one more to go 2-0 on the evening over compLexity. I'm gonna let Zotic do it again. He tried this peek earlier. This time the flashbang just takes a timing shot and falls away. 3 players in the A-bomb site. Zotic with that op is actually inside of the site at the moment, peering up towards halls. And compLexity, a minute and a half remaining. Take control of top mid. No presence here. There's a nade. Zotic looks like he wants to peek this one, but it's going to fall away because of the Molotov.
Yeah, they're taking it slightly with this time. Not going to be given any free rotations out of this site.
Ooh, you'd wish Sempus had a flashbang for drone, but there's nothing. It's all on Zotic. And actually, there's the elbow peek from Android. Going to force him back. Someone needs to cover up Rapside. They're using their own smoke to kind of block that off, but that's not an impenetrable wall. They can still come through that, and it's almost just as deadly. Here it comes. There's a huge gap in it as well. Zotic is blind. He's got to bait them in towards drone. There's players coming up lane as well. There's no defense. Great recovery, great reaction, but just not enough. All 3 players are wiped out at this A site.
Davey and Roka, they are going to arrive on the scene. But a retake is going to be tricky and highly unlikely as a result. Kind of toying with the idea as to whether or not they should go for this. Davey up at apartments. Roka. Man, that shot missed from PTR's made all the difference. Now he's 1v2. He has to try and make up for that missed shot. Time's ticking away. Davey flashes him out. Time's tick low. PTR has to try and make this work, and he will. compLexity. They get an 11th round. The comeback still possible, Jason. Overtime could well be within our grasp. Just 4 more rounds to go.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, the fact that even Splyce made that retake almost happen in a 2-on-3, and then just losing it like that. So compLexity still chugging along. A little engine that could. Mac 10s are out. Here it comes. There's a rush down mid. Def wants to make this money. It's Ye first. There's the secondary peek. There's the follow-up. Only 1 kill coming out, and 15-12 now. Question is, how many rounds are Splyce gonna have to sit out? They've actually had some buys that were on the edge, and this would be another one of those. But at this juncture of the game, yeah, you could see Sempus going for the Deagle and armor, so going for kind of half buys, wanting to make sure they have full rifles the first time they go for it. 5 smokes being bought up. They're going to go for those delay tactics. So this is going to be one of those longer, drawn-out rounds as Splyce tries to find a timing to force an awkward fight.
They are just 3 rounds away from doing it. Over here towards Banana, they are going to be walking into a stack if they go into this. They try and play it fast, and actually this could be to their demise. There's 4 players here, but yeah, he's able to open up on a Davey. What they expect, Exotic. No, he gets nothing done. Instead, it all falls to Drone and Sempus, 2 versus 5. Trying to keep the dream alive. They go through the smoke. Drone goes down. It's Sempus. 6 HP and a D. He falls to Ye. It's 13-5. Let's not forget, this was a 13-2 scoreline in favor of Splyce. It seemed almost unlosable. And now, compLexity, they're just 2 rounds away from taking this through to overtime. And if they win this, crucially, that economy is going to be reset for Splyce into the last round of regulation.
It is indeed unbelievable. Yaster peering up towards mid. Zotic wants to get aggressive. He wants to edit. He's got that AWP, goes for the peek and gets his face ripped off. Like Nick Cage. Sempus is at the end of halls as well. It's a 4-5. They got to find some way to recover into this. But it's just passive all across the map. And there's the follow-up. There's the equalizer from Sempus. Great kill onto Android. Going to smoke things off. Going to delay it. Molotov's out for Roka. A lot of utility being used. He wants to get a new position. He's got Davey with him as well, but they've only got one flashbang. Here it comes. Nope, actually it's going to be the smoke. So delay even more. That's going to funnel compLexity back towards A, and Semphis has a kill onto FNS. And this is when compLexity picks up the pace towards this A bomb site.
They are pushing on up towards short. It is a 3 versus 4. compLexity, though, they fought so hard to get this far. They don't want to let it elude them now. Semphis goes down in the pit. Drone tries to pull things back, but a colossal whiff gives it all away. And now it is going to be Davey and Roka left. 2 versus 3 in the retake. At this point, they might even consider the save, Jason. They're going to have no money in this next round. They're going to look to try and go for it. As Roka edges his way up through short. Davey smoked off. Shot raised high, finds the first TTR. Now it's a 2-on-2. Ye's able to get rid of it. All falls to Davey. 1 versus 2 here. Flash goes high. Peek out from pit. And Davey goes down 14 to 15. compLexity, they are 1 round away from taking us through to overtime. I think it was Pimp who originally predicted a 1-1 in this series. He is smiling with glee at the thought that this could go through to overtime, and compLexity could, in theory, make his prediction come true.
I have no words to those kills that were missed at the A bomb site. That's literally an unlosable. That's the definition of an unlosable round, with the team just rushing into A with no utility and a crossfire setup.
I mean, look at this. Splyce have scraped together what they can. It's a desperate attempt to try and field a 16th round here and take the series 2-0. This was 13-2 at one point in time. Sorry, he's up close, going to go ahead and drop Android. The aggression into apartments does catch them off guard. That's the man advantage taken here from Splyce. But it would feel so bad to see compLexity have fought this hard to get so far. And for them to lose it now, the pressure is definitely on.
Let's see what happens here. FNS is over towards A halls. He's providing an avenue for his teammates to fall back from Banana. There were 3 there that had control towards the top. That's actually forced Drone into the rotation. With this kind of depleted arsenal of weaponry as Splyce, you almost feel like you have to cheat someone over, which really spreads thin this defense. You can see, I mean, 1 player pit, 1 player at the corner, 1 player in CT spawn. This isn't the strongest, and obviously running out of utility. There's going to be the peak. I think Semphis spotted that out, rotating over. It's Drone here with the UMP. Smoke goes down. He cannot help his teammate. Semphis inside the site has got to hold on. That's a tough angle for him. Here's the Famas. He gets the headshot, gets the opening kill. No more follow-up, but Zodek still alive in the pit with the AK-47, trying to buy time. It's a headshot from FNS, and now Drone with the UMP. He's got to wait for his teammates. It's a 3-on-2, but the weaponry is so lacking.
Aren't going to come in. They don't expect the aggression from FNS, and Drone isn't in a place to shut it down. It's a 2 versus 2. FNS with a hat trick. Davey about to peek out from apartments. Holds the angle, gets rid of him. It's all on Drone. 1 versus 2 to try and win this out. But Splyce finds the first, and FNS does manage to get it done. He manages to secure overtime. We're going to be seeing it, Jason. Our last game of the night. And that was so incredibly close. And that's it. It's overtime.
Yeah.
I didn't see this coming.
Why not? An incredible comeback from compLexity. That's quite nice from them. I honestly don't know really how. I mean, it was just such a passive CT side from Splyce, and then obviously there are so many opportunities when they look back and watch this. If they look back and watch this, where you'll just see just easy kills that you know you get 20 out of 20 times to be honest, except for that one. So 19 out of 20.
That is it, though. Overtime is secured. compLexity, they did the impossible. We said it couldn't be done. They win 13 rounds in order to secure overtime in this last map. They are, I mean, I would say they're very much in the driver's seat heading forward. If you're Splyce, to say that you're going to be lacking the morale here heading into overtime, I think is an understatement. This should have been their game. There's no mistaking that. While it is an insane comeback from compLexity, there was no way that Splyce should have given away that much of a lead. They have fought so hard to get this far, and now we're going to be heading in to overtime here in map 6 of tonight, map 2 in this series. And I mean, if this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what changes, I guess, between these two teams and how they kind of adapt their CT sides, because both were just atrocious. So what are you going to switch up if you're either one of these teams? I mean, the nice thing to note will be you at least have money to work with, so you can get whatever you want. Both teams obviously struggled. Neither team was able to string 2 rounds together, so they just constantly got reset.
Yeah, I think one thing we might see as a bit of a feature for both of these teams on the CT side is perhaps some more aggression, right? I mean, neither of them really tried it. Whenever we saw them go for it, it worked out well. If you recall, it was the round that Exotic went aggressive down Banana that actually netted them that, the match point for Splyce. So I think maybe we're going to see some more aggression come out on the CT side. I mean, you know, why not bother trying it now in overtime? It's kind of a desperate attempt to maintain this lead on the CT side, right?
I saw you just rush everywhere.
Yeah.
Fast rounds, quick pace.
These teams, though, they don't like it. They don't like to go fast.
Start with a nice ready up.
Really taking it in during this time. There's a lot to think about, of course. Neither team wants to lose this for very valid reasons. You were Splyce with such a massive lead, and to have given that away, you can understand why. They don't want to see this one slip through their fingers, and for compLexity, as I've kind of been saying, they fought so hard to get this far. They had to stave off 5 match points in a row towards the end to carry it through to overtime. And regardless of any of that, they had to win 13 rounds to pull it through to OT. So for either team, the pressure's immense. Game faces are on, and they are having an in-depth chat about how they can approach this overtime.
Nope, no idea, to be honest. But, I mean, obviously, I think this might be a situation where someone took a bathroom break.
Yeah, I mean,
stepped away from the PC, had a smoke break.
I mean, while we're here, we can just appreciate the new music, right? I'm fairly certain this is new.
I do not have the headphones on, so I can.
Well, I can appreciate the new music.
Nice.
Jesus, really good.
What's it sound like?
They've really jazzed it up a lot. You know, there's a lot more noises now. I feel like this one, it really gets the hype going. Like the other one was good.
Okay.
And now I think they're varying it up with a couple of different.
Is it like a different overtime tune, perhaps?
Yeah, actually, that might be the case. I don't know. I mean, I'm just a big fan of whatever this noise is, regardless.
Okay.
You know? I kind of wish you could hear it. We could bond over something, but you'd probably hate it. But I think it just matches live. We're going to be getting into this first round of overtime, 15-15. Of course, it's MR3. You guys know the rules. Davey and Exotic going to be picking up AWPs for the CT side. They never had the money to do this for Splyce. And now they look to try and kickstart this first half of overtime with a bold strategy.
Double op setup is out. Davy's got one. Zotic has the other. Why not try it? You never had the money to try it in regulation, so Zotic has his in lane. Davy has his at the B bomb site. And actually, the last time we saw Zotic kind of play this position with the AWP, he got picked off before. I don't even think he got a kill from playing this aggressively. Let's see how it goes this time around. 4 players for compLexity working their way up Banana. And at least with the op, like Splyce's or Zotic is feeling, you know, confident enough to get aggressive to have some kind of an idea of what's coming. Here at the B bomb site as well, again with the op, Davy, if this is just a full-blown execute and not a contact play, Davy's going to get smoked off, and therefore he won't be able to help Roka. It's going to be all on Roka to do the grunt work, to be able to hold this hit off. And here come these smokes, all flying over. Davy's going to be blind. That smoke is going to do absolutely nothing. They're going to run right through it. The rope is taken out, and there goes Davy.
Yeah, it's just a flurry of bullets. Nothing you can do there. If you Splyce, they go down. In compLexity, they are looking fired up here in this take. The retake going to be attempted. Semphis dancing with the idea. He boosts up Drone. Drone's able to get one, almost a second, but FNS shuts him down. And then going to lose Zyke on that flank. It all falls to Sempis 1v4. Retaking in a 4-on-4 is hard enough. So one man to do a whole team's worth of work is it does not look possible here for Splyce. Sempis going to look to try and back away. FNS will give him quite the headache as he gets rid of him there. compLexity in with the first round in the first half of this overtime. Going to go 16-15. And the double AWP could throw in some money problems here for Splyce. They're not going to go for it again, I don't think, although, yeah, they are. And now if they lose this, no, they should still be fine.
Well, see how aggressive they want to get. This time it's Sempis with the op, not Davey. So they've switched that up. Zodic is going to be at the B bomb site instead of over at A. They've switched that up as well. Sempis is in the same position that Zodic was in with the op last round. So they're just playing musical ops. Nice flashbang. Prevent Zodic from finding a pick. We saw Ye get dropped earlier. That was a huge, huge round. That was the second round that allowed Splyce to get up towards 15. Here again, the opportunity. Another flashbang comes out, and Zodic still wants to peek. The flick isn't going to work, and he gets taken down through the half wall. So a nice kill from PTR. A 5-on-4 advantage for the T side.
Sempis in with the equalizer, though. Going to keep things even. 4-on-4. The rest of the compLexity guys try to execute out towards this B bomb site, but Sempis tries his hand at some aggression over in mid. Now FNS is left behind to try and contend with this fact. Davey and Roka rotating on in to try and lock down B. There's 45 seconds. compLexity lining up these smokes and flashes to go in. They're going to be boosting up Roka. We've seen him have success from the boost, but there's surely no way that compLexity don't check it. The push goes through from Davey. Perhaps go for a bit of a bait and switch, assuming that that was the CT player and that there won't be a man boosted up. Roka's able to get the first. A bit confused as to where he could be, but now FNS pounces out from behind. Sempis and Roka have to get control of this site. They find the first. Def's there to pick up Sempis. Now the pressure's on for Roka. FNS on this flank round from behind. Roka finds it, comes down to the 1 versus 1. No utility for Def. Has to rely on his aim. He's going to go ahead and start to cross into Banana. Just gets by before the smoke fades. And this could be massive. Bomb is planted for it. Roka suspects. Checks the angle. Def peeks wide and Roka finds it. Splyce is going to be in with a round on their CT side. 16-16.
Wondering if Roka saw something through the smoke, maybe like caught like a glimpse of a leg. I didn't see him on our screen crossing over towards Banana, and Roka seemed to be convinced. Maybe he saw like the radar flashed or something. But that's a really good read from him, regardless of how it happened. But quite nice. Splyce able to recover in that situation. Sempis with that AWP making it work. He's going to go back to it, so another double op setup. They've had it 3 rounds in a row on the Splyce side of things. 16-16.
Be a fast up through B. That Molotov holds them back, and no peek to come through this time. Nade's doing a great job of delaying this push. compLexity trying to switch the pace up there, and I mean that would have caught Splyce off guard, you'd imagine. They weren't prepared for it though. Exotic is already starting this rotation round in through CT spawn. Perhaps going to switch out positions with Roka and with Davey. Looks to try and hold down the site on his own. And this is a good read. Sempis able to go ahead and find PTR down in mid. That was the bomb drop. They get the information that it's there, but there's still time left for compLexity to rotate. It's been dropped in a bit of a horrid location, and they have to push out to grab it. Sempis is just eyeing up the angle. Now decides to start to fade away. 4 players still over in mid for compLexity as they start to round the corner. Sempis there with the AWP gets flashed into the angle. Smoke's now cordon off the site. compLexity beginning this push on in. Sempis is the man holding close. Android on the entry, doesn't get anything done. Sempis almost in with a second, but Def actually falls prone to his own Molotov there. And now Roka has to hold the fort, has to buy time. Davey has arrived to try and help out, and it's all on Ye. 1 versus 3, has to try and get a monstrous job done with only 17 seconds left. He's very short on time, and Roka finds it. That is going to be a 17th round for Splyce as they manage to get 2 on their CT side. This leaves compLexity in a very rough spot.
Yeah, it really does, especially when you consider, you know, how weak it's been at times. So, I mean, they're going to have to pull it together here on the CT side. I mean, the double op setup for Splyce obviously working out in the end, so that's always good to see. But switching over, we'll see what they have in store. And now this is where you get tired. You know, you've played a lot of rounds of Counter-Strike. You've kind of dug into the playbook on both sides of the map. You don't really know where you're going to go. So a lot of this does just kind of turn into playing off individual instinct. And we'll just have to see what happens in this next half.
Yeah, one thing is for certain. I think Splyce are looking good into this second half of OT. It's not going to be back up on the AWP. compLexity go for rifles across the board. They don't break anything out, and actually it looks like Ye's been knifed by a teammate, which you really hate to see. They're going to go for the mid-aggression. They completely change the pace, and it does catch them off guard. 2 players down, Roker and Drone both fall prey to that. Jason, we were saying both of these sides perhaps needed to try something wacky to secure them around, and that is about as insane as it gets.
Yeah, that'll do it. Davy's going to get caught. He's trying to punish the retreat from all that aggression. That's the bomb dropped. Zotic has now made his way out. There's some space there for him to work with. The timing of this as well could just wreck PTR. So he's got to be careful. The bomb is grabbed, but you almost feel like he's got to wait for Semphis to make a play to get closer to him because it is a 2-on-4, and at the moment it's a 1-on-4 at this A bomb site, and Zotic has nowhere to go since he fake planted. Semphis still hasn't moved, and he really needs to do something to help his teammate at this point. It's got to come in quick. There's the play onto PTR. He's down. FNS is biding his time out of halls. One more coming up lane as well, and Zotic's not ready. Semphis, at this point, they know exactly where he is. They know exactly where he's coming from, and he's got fire in his path and nothing to do. It's looking like compLexity going to tie things up at 17-17.
Yeah, we're all tied up. compLexity, they really kind of turn it up to 11 there to kickstart this the second half overtime. Their CT side, they throw in lots of aggression early on, and it works out brilliantly for them. Of course, you're looking for that lucky number 19 to win this out. 18-18 would be double overtime. The AWP going to be out for PTR. Where have they decided to play that? Over towards Banana. Might try their hand at some more aggression here. Big fan of that. They made Roker not looking too healthy. Going to get tagged through the smoke as well. Doesn't want to go eyeing up the Banana anymore. And they're going to be boosting that AWP up on Banana. PTR just peeking over the top. Something that could very easily catch this Splyce offensive off guard.
PTR's got great position with that AWP. Flashbang over. There is a smoke in his face, so he's just going to fall right back. Passive defense towards the A bomb site as well, but it's going to come down to this hold here at B. It looks like Splyce. 4 players working up Banana. Very passive Davy in alt mid. All the way back at the base of it, though. Going to meet up with the bomb on T-ramp, which now going towards Banana, so just making sure there's going to be no pushes. So Def is going to be boosted up. The AWP, Peter, is out in the open behind new box. How's this hit work? Molotov's coming over. Actually, Def, I don't know if he fell or he just wasn't boosted up, but it's all just Peter, all alone, and Def's going to try and come through, and that's not going to work. That's not going to do anything. Splyce is going to take the bomb site with ease, and Ye and Android, they have the money to go for it if they want, but there's almost no reason to. Just let the bomb explode as it gets planted. It will be 18-17 for Splyce.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you had Def boosted up, there would have been an entirely different round. You know,
he must have fallen off of that. I mean, I would imagine.
Because, you know, you had the 2 players in positions where they have a very good crossfire setup, and on top of that, there's very little you can do to kind of nullify those positions. It's not like when you have you know, a CT player on the ground and a Coffins player, right, where you kind of just get smoked out of the site and then you're playing for retake. They would have actually had a decent crossfire, and perhaps it would have been a different outcome, but all 5 players stay alive for Splyce. You love to see that. 18-17, potentially the last round of this matchup. right here, right now. Yay and PTR going to be picking up the AWP for compLexity. Rifles across the board. Plenty of utility as well for either side, as you would expect. There's just so much money flying around in OT. That's not an issue. And the question is now, do compLexity try something a little bit crazy again? Or do they opt to play it safe?
They've got to go for something. 3 ops for the CT side.
Love it.
One of the M4's Def is going to get very aggressive down towards logs. An interesting strategy on a retake heavy map. They have the 3 AWPs. Zodic with his own op. Still at the base of T-Ramp at the moment. No indication of where they want to end. There's actually been a decent amount of utility used by compLexity, so they're kind of starting to run low on nades. 3 players. There's 2 smokes. There's 2 Molotovs. These ops. Okay, there was a 3 op setup because they just swapped one out to an M4 just now. I was looking for kind of an early pick. There's a great kill from Davey onto Ye. And that leaves just 1 player. That leaves just Android alone at this A bomb site. They obviously don't realize it quite yet. It still looks like it's going to be a fake, but compLexity, perhaps because of the pressure of the situation, is biting pretty hard on it. And now the bomb is coming to meet up in mid.
And this is massive. Def heard the whole thing. He's going to be here. The rotations can come back towards B. Def gets nothing done. Now the rotations look to come through. Davies there to slide the knife into the back of Android. And that's it. 2-man advantage secured. It's all on PTR. He has to have a valiant stand. He's able to get 1. That should be it for him as Roka picks him up. It's all on FNS. The new brains behind compLexity left to try and clutch this out. 1 versus 3. This should be impossible, but you said that about the first comeback. Not writing him out just yet. They have crossfires set up, and FNS gonna peek on round. Finds the first Asempis. He's tagged incredibly low. Out comes Roka, and he will get shut down. And that is Splyce to win this out in overtime. We don't see double OT and Splyce. They take the series 2-0.
Yes, they do, just barely. But I mean, God bless. Do they not deserve to win that? I feel bad even saying it, but I don't know. You have a 13-2 lead going into the second half. You need to close that out, especially on the CT side of Inferno. And I mean, you can really say both teams just horrendous CT apps. So I don't think anyone can feel like they won. That's like one of those back to the drawing board games for everyone involved. We all love a good drawing board. Rambo is going to be less than pleased with his team.
Less than pleased. He might even go Rambo on them, one might say.
Yeah.
A little much. It's early.
It was a bit much.
It's early, it's late at the same time. I don't know what to do with my hands. So we're going to continue on with the segment, and we're going to wrap up at least here with Splyce and compLexity right from the get-go. What do we got, guys? Go ahead, Pimp. Take it away.
I mean, I got my prediction correct, first of all. I think that's very important to just lay out.
Yeah,
Now, we
saw
saw 2 horrible CT sites, to be completely honest. It didn't look good for either teams, and especially not, like when you're leading 14-2, you have so many options to close down a game. You have so many different things you can do. You can like start stacking sites from the beginning. You can start taking risks. You can start doing a lot of stuff. They didn't do anything, you know. They were just like waiting to lose all the rounds. It seemed like they got scared to win, and that's something like we work with within the teams. You know, when you don't play to win, you often get scared to win, and when you play like that, you often just don't play at all, and that then ends up losing you. So it wasn't really pretty by any means, and it was not a pretty Counter-Strike game, to be completely honest.
No, it really wasn't. And you know, even though they end up going to OT, I'd say Splyce had the worst showing of that, and you know, going into their CT side simply because, as you mentioned, they had so many opportunities. They created the massive lead for themselves going into the second half, and at that point, you're free to actually take a couple of risks. And we saw none of it. We saw 1 round where Exotic went aggressively in Banana to go for a peek, pretty much, and that actually paid off, but they strayed off of it immediately. And that doesn't make sense to me at any level.
At any level, and this is the ESL Pro League, ladies and gentlemen. So these are fundamental flaws that we probably shouldn't be seeing ultimately at this level. And we did. We witnessed it round after round and round again, even onward into the overtime. However, we're going to go ahead and take a look at today's results because that does it for our 6 matches in a row. We're going to see what these score lines were across the board. Hopefully any second. I'm thinking any second will do. What do you think, Pimp? Maybe now. Oh, there we go. That was the second. We were just waiting for that second. All right, check it out. Started with a little SK and Cloud9 action. Of course, splitting maps there between the two. And it looks like the story of the night is splitting maps, boys.
Well, yeah, all the way up until the last bout that we saw. Obviously, Renegades and Luminosity splitting their maps as well, and a very fun cash matchup. Actually, the overtime we saw there. Then obviously, as we just saw, compLexity dropping the ball versus Splyce.
Dropping the ball versus Splyce, but I'm sure they're going to get another go at it. Let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's schedule and see what's on the docket. A little bit of Ghosts, a little bit of Renegades, followed by a Brazilian matchup in the SK Gaming lineup versus Luminosity Gaming. And the night will be finished out with a little bit of a burner known as the Rogue versus Splyce Showdown. 2 maps. Who will take it home? Only time will tell. Let's go ahead and take a look at the EU standings, though, or at least how it all fared across the board today in the EU part of the world. What sticks out to you, Pimp?
I mean, definitely interesting to see Splyce coming out blazing, going 4-0 against Fnatic and FaZe is pretty impressive considering they just brought in Magic's boys. So I don't think anyone expected them to be that hot already. So definitely a team to look out for. We already knew that, right? But going 4-0 against FaZe and Fnatic is literally like the winner of the last season in Europe and the best team in the world.
Well, let's continue to take a look here across our graphics and go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's matches here in the EU region, so to say. Halvor, please walk us through it step by step.
Well, obviously, we get to start off the day with some pretty interesting matchups. Navi versus FaZe should be a really good one, and obviously with how Astralis started out, they won. Them going up against, you know, the up until now undefeated Mousesports, going to win their matchup should be pretty fun as well. And then HGO, we got a good start to their bout as well, taking on a bit of a, I guess, shaky G2 considering Shox's arm status or injury status right now. So definitely a lot of fun matches to look forward to there.
Well, that concludes our long night. It has been a long one. It is currently 8:30 in the morning here in Copenhagen, and we're looking forward to coming back to you tonight for our second night of the ESL Pro League. But tune in at 5 p.m. local time where you can catch the EU broadcast, kicking it off just right. That does it for us. Good night, good morning, whatever it happens to be. Well, just let it be. See you later.